everybody, it's Anna. Time for our final card in this week's tarot story. So we close this week with the Five of Swords. So the 5 is the midpoint in a 10-card trajectory, and it is the point of challenge or conflict. We have to meet this challenge. We have to kind of complete the first half of our trajectory by meeting this challenge, and then push past it to get into the second half of the work. So the swords are connected to the mind, so they're about ideas and beliefs and strategies. So the image here shows a fella with a couple swords in his hand. He's smirking. He's pretty proud of himself, he looks like. He also has swords on the shore. And it looks like he's been in a few battles. He's won some duels. He's feeling pretty proud of himself. The image, though, shows that these clouds above him are sort of dark and stormy, which tells us that, there's something not really victorious about the scene, right? So because this is a swords card, it suggests to me that the mind is getting into battles that are fruitless, really. You're not really accomplishing anything. You're just proving yourself, defending yourself, and beating somebody else out, right? So there's this idea the mind is is getting caught in conflicts that feel very, very serious, but are actually completely pointless, right? So you have these two people in the challenge, and they're actually walking away. I think they're the successful people in the challenge because they recognize that this conflict is fruitless and pointless, and they don't engage in it. And so the mind doesn't get caught in this moment of conflict and challenge, but is able to sort of extricate itself from it and move on to something else. I think that's actually the challenge point of the mind, is can it recognize which conflicts are not worth engaging and not get caught in them. We don't want the mind to get caught in other people's expectations or other people's confusions or other people's hostilities. We want the mind to be very focused on our purpose on the planet, what we are here to do. We want the mind to only serve our own calling and our own guidance rather than getting caught by other people's stuff, right? So this card feels connected to the first card we had this week, which was the Three of Pentacles reversed. And we talked about how the Three of Pentacles is about kind of drawing to yourself your team. People who see what you're doing, they want to offer ideas and support and perspective. But the reversal is like people are coming to us who are offering us advice or perspectives that don't match what we're doing. So even if they mean well, they don't understand what we're doing, and their perspectives are actually in dissonance with us, right? So this card feels like it matches that card, because basically, like, if people don't understand what you're doing, it is not necessary to get them to understand. We don't have to explain or defend ourselves. We're not required to do so. The mind doesn't have to get people on board to follow the intuition's guidance. In fact, the mind needs to not worry about that, because the mind's job is not to explain the intuition to others, but to serve the purpose of the intuition. So I talked about on Tuesday how I had a marketer, tell me one time that when I was starting my business, that I should get rid of tarot and not make that part of my business because tarot was controversial and that it would cost me clients, right? It would cost me people. And I knew that wasn't true. I knew that there was something about the tarot that matched what I was doing that would create that additional piece of momentum that I needed to bring my gift to the world. So I didn't spend time arguing with the marketer or explaining why they were wrong. I just said, okay, and let it go, right? I don't need to explain to somebody who doesn't understand what I'm doing. For one thing, they're not going to understand. What's going to happen is we're just going to have a back and forth conversation, even maybe an argument about who's right and who's wrong. And that's fruitless. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter that your mind doesn't agree with my mind. The mind's just using tools. My tools are different than your tools. Why do we got to argue over each other's tools, right? I'm just going to use my tools for what I'm here to do, right? So this card showing up here, I think, invites us to train our minds, to remind our minds what they're here to do. And it's not here to win friends and influence people. It's not here to get people on our side or to explain ourselves. The mind's job is to, as best it can, follow the intuition's guidance and walk in faith, even when it doesn't really know where we're going, which connects to yesterday's card, the Ten of Wands reversed. The mind doesn't really know where we're heading, so we're asking it to trust us and to walk forward anyway, and to not waste time getting engaged in these conflicts and these battles, which will end up just exhausting us and making the mind a little bit the mind gets weakened and struggles and has to recover from that. So we lose some time, we lose some energy. And actually, if you think of the spiritual journey or as this mountain, you're climbing up the mountain. If the mind loses energy here, we slide back down the mountain and we have to kind of repeat some steps, which is okay, but I don't like to repeat steps. So if we can encourage the mind to let this go and move forward, it'll be more satisfying. That's our tarot story for this week. See you next time.